Tanse, my name is Ashley Collingbull and I'm from the Enoch Cree Nation in Alberta, which is in Treaty 6 territory. I'm the granddaughter of George and Charlotte Collingbull and the daughter of Joel and Lisa Ground. There has been a lot to absorb these last few days, as most of you have heard or have seen. 215 remains of children as young as 3 have been found at a residential school in BC. My heart is with all of those who are currently struggling with this news. It's hard to think that these children could have been elders in our communities with grandchildren of their own. I wanted to address this because I made a post a few days ago and I've been receiving ignorant responses such as, get over it, it's history, stop complaining. And because I have such a large platform, it's so important for me to utilize it for awareness and speaking our truth. My late Kokum Charlotte and my Mossum George are both residential school survivors. They were both taken from their families and placed in these schools where the government and church try to erase who they were. When my Kokum was alive, she was able to talk about her experiences with others because that was her form of healing. When she spoke her truth, it no longer had power over her anymore. But at her young age, she endured things she never should have had to. She was sexually and physically abused, starved, and witnessed so many acts of cruelty and violence towards other children. There are so many stories of children being held in cages and young girls being impregnated by priests, and their babies would then be burned alive to cover up their crimes. My Mossum, on the other hand, is more hesitant to talk about what happened to him. He said I could share something that he'll never forget. He said he's not just suffering mentally from residential school, but will forever be physically scarred. For the one time that he spoke his language to communicate, they threw hot boiling water on him as punishment, which resulted in burns all over his body. There are so many more stories of what happened that I won't go into detail because it's very triggering. When they finally made it out of residential school, there was a few paths that they could take. And a lot of people don't understand why Indigenous people suffer from alcohol addictions and drug abuse, and a lot of it stems from residential school. When my Mossum left the school, he turned to alcohol to numb the pain. After years of feeling like he was going to lose himself, he turned back to his culture because that was his strength. He was taught that putting alcohol into our body is not our way of keeping our body, mind, and spirit healthy, and our culture saved his life. Him and my Kokum Charlotte found their strength and they walked the red road together, and they both became a medicine man and medicine woman. They lived their lives to help others heal because that was their way of healing. They opened their hearts and arms to anyone that came to the sweat and ceremony for help, and I really respected that. And because of them, I'm here today. Because of their resilience, they have grandchildren to carry on our traditions and way of life, which I am so thankful for. So when people say it's history and to get over it, I'm disturbed because the last residential school closed in 1996. Which means that I was of age. I could have been taken from my family to attend. So this was not that long ago. Our people still suffer from intergenerational trauma that came from these schools. Our people still suffer when protesting against pipelines that are legally going through our lands. Our children compare the current foster care system to residential schools. And there are so many Indigenous communities in Canada that still don't have access to clean running water, and many of our people are living in third world conditions because we aren't considered a priority. This isn't history. This is what our people are currently going through today. I encourage all non-Indigenous people to be allies by learning the true history of Canada and to unlearn the colonized behaviors perpetuated towards Indigenous people. Be our allies, not by just speaking up, but showing up for us and educating others around you. I know it's a lot to absorb and it hurts to hear the truth, but the truth is our power. It's so important to share our stories and have these conversations because this leads to healing. And now that it's officially Indigenous History Month, I wanted to tell all of you to always be proud of who you are. Be proud every day to be Indigenous. Don't ever let someone else's opinions affect how you feel about yourself, because the Creator made you the way you are for a reason. And that's beautiful. Our culture is our strength, and no one can ever take that away from us. We are still here, and that is our power.